Welcome to the Fruit Tracy Money Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording, and it is 3:59 p.m. that is Central Time, and today is October 8th. Well, we've had a momentous day today where gold has popped above 4,000 for the first time, and this is now 8 consecutive weeks on the upside. So we have a short-term overbought condition, but it's still a reasonably consistent trend. And the big question is, are we going to see a pause here around the 4,000 level, or is it going to accelerate higher? If this trend is going to remain consistent, then a pause here would not be unexpected. If we're going to see an acceleration of the trend, which would be indicative of a lot of enthusiasm and a rush to buy, then that would probably be a medium-term topping phenomena, which would be exceptionally bullish and very profitable in the short term, which would eventually lead to a deep correction. We've had a huge amount of speculation in the gold mining sector, and silver was also in positive territory today, up around $1, and it's closing in on the big psychological $50 level. Then the Nasdaq was up 1.25% today, so pushing back above the 25,000 point level. We've had a very modest pause in the region of this big round number. So we're in a rather interesting environment where we have both stocks and gold rallying at the same time. Something that is particularly, I think, important to emphasize is that the US dollar has lost about 30% of its purchasing power since the peak in gold back in 2011. So we're at a significant new high for gold right now, and silver is closing in on its 2011 peak. But the dollar in the intervening time has lost so much of its purchasing power that these are nominal price appreciation figures. Now, I'm also seeing a lot of commentary right now about uranium, and we've had some stunning advances in the mining sector and in the fuels sector in particular. But uranium itself hasn't moved all that much. So that also tells us something else is going on. Well, then we also have some concern that is circulating right now around the what are referred to as circular investments, or what I would refer to as vendor financing within the chip sector and in AI. And a lot of that has to focus on the money that OpenAI believes it thinks it's going to make, the contracts that it's signed for the power and for the computing that it's going to require in order to fulfill those promises, and how other companies have booked those profits. And then simultaneously, you have NVIDIA, which has been investing significant sums in supporting IPOs for client companies. So in many respects, it's funding its own growth through the promise for leaseback, even though NVIDIA itself is not involved in a great deal of compute. Now, all of this is painting a rather disconcerting question against a background where there is the potential, at least, that geopolitical tensions might ease if there is an end to the war in Gaza. Then we have these broad questions around whether the French economy is going to be able to get its act together and get a budget passed.